I want to talk to you about how to prevent credit card fraud. And nowadays, credit card fraud is really rampant. So you really got to have a clear idea about how to prevent this sort of this sort of problem. Okay. So here are our opening remarks. So when we talk about credit card fraud, we're talking about you stopping scammers from using your credit card, right? Somebody who is not authorized to use your credit card, they shouldn't be using your credit card in the first place. So credit card fraud really is any unauthorized use of credit or debit card to fraudulently obtain money or property. And this was actually the most common type of identity theft reported by the Federal Trade Commission last year, the FTC. So that's a big problem. So even if your physical card has not been stolen, you could still be at risk because scammers nowadays can often find leaked stolen credit card numbers on the dark web. And so the very first thing you want to do here is to understand when your card is at risk. The thing is, criminals have more ways than ever to get access to your physical credit card or credit card numbers. So whereas your social security number might be easier to protect, credit card numbers are more easily accessible, unfortunately. So thieves of all calibers can steal your credit card numbers from unsecure websites using phishing attacks or other deceptive credit card scams. And the worst thing is that once they have your card numbers, they can accumulate debts, open new accounts, or request new cards, or commit loan fraud. Especially if you have a perfect credit, if you have good credit, they can really get loans, lines of credit, credit cards in your name. And even worse, you can spend years and thousands of dollars trying to repair your credit and restore your identity. So the best course of action is to stop fraud before it happens, right? There are a couple of things you can do: physical theft, mail theft or dumpster diving, phishing attacks, malware, spyware, or other viruses, skimming and shimming at ATMs, intercepting Wi-Fi, data breaches, and other hacks. And you also have shoulder surfing. So those are actually ways for you to detect credit card fraud. In other words, you have to actually protect yourself against those episodes. What you want to do also is that you want to protect your physical card, because while criminals have found advanced ways of committing, say, credit card fraud, physical card theft is still pervasive. This is an important element. Your card, the plastic in your wallet. So with your physical card, a thief can make fraudulent purchases, clone the card into a new one, or use the numbers for other types of scams and fraud. So you got to really find ways to keep your credit card safe, right? So to do so, remember to use a chip reader. So whenever possible, use a chip reader as they are more secure. So modern credit cards use EMV chips to stop scammers from being able to skim your card's magnetic strip. You also want to protect your wallet or purse. Keep an eye on your wallet or purse and never leave it unattended. And if you carry your wallet in your back pocket or your purse behind you, you might want to consider moving them in front of you to avoid getting pickpocketed, right? That's the worst thing that you want to have happening to you. You want to carry fewer cards with you. So having too many credit cards means you are less likely to notice when one goes missing. So you want to minimize the number of cards that you carry on your person. You want to ensure transactions happen within your view. The thing is that don't let servers at restaurant or, let's say, store employees take your card. It's too easy for credit card fraud to happen when you're not around. And don't read out your credit card numbers in public. Wait until you are in private before giving out your numbers on the phone, because anyone can listen in and write them down. You never know. Some people can even memorize your numbers. You only want to transact on websites using SSL. SSL means what? Secure Socket Layer, right? And so digital payments are not always fraud-free, but you can protect yourself by only sharing personally identifiable information on secure websites. And such sites use encryption to stop scammers from hacking them and getting your credit card numbers. So that's really something you need to really think about. So how can you tell if a site is secure? Well, you want to look for a padlock symbol by the URL, and you want to check for HTTPS, not HTTP. In this case, the extra S stands for secure. You want to shop with reputable online retailers. I mean, I think I want to insist on this because, you know, basically you have billions of dollars that are stolen every year from unprotected websites. So even the most secure sites can fall victim to hacks or fraudulent activity. But reputable businesses like Walmart, Amazon, and Apple usually have a stronger security than smaller brands. So you want to go for the bigger brands, okay? If you want to use your credit card to buy from an unknown retailer, you want to start by searching for them on the Better Business Bureau website, because this will actually give you an idea about the risks and the potential risks that you might actually face. So if there are any reported fraud instances from this company, you will have the opportunity to read about it, and you also want to know if they're trusted by the Triple B. So, but the Triple B is not the only resource to check for retailer legitimacy. Because see, the thing is, you want to make sure the retailer is legit before you actually give them your credit card data. You want to obtain a physical address. You want to check if the contact number is working. You want to look for an active email address. You want to do a quick Google search for company name plus scam fraud. You want to be, it's important to be aware of account signups without ID verification. And you want to look for third-party reviews. So third-party reviews basically mean that you want to find reviews from previous customers on sites like Amazon, as well as on industry news sites and third-party sources that monitor websites for internet safety. I mean, of course, not all reviews are genuine, but at least you have the opportunity to do your due diligence beforehand. And when I talk about obtaining a physical address, it's important to understand that an authentic organization wants customers to discover and enter its physical and online stores. Conversely, criminals won't risk listing a legitimate location. If you find, let's say, a postal address, you want to validate that information with the U.S. Postal Service. It's all about doing your due diligence before you actually give them your credit card information, right? Because the last thing you want is for somebody actually use your hard-earned money and really burden you with unnecessary debt. Also, when I talk about looking for an active email address, most bona fide companies have email addresses for customer support. So if you do find an email address, send out an initial query. A reputable store will be happy to provide email verification of its authenticity. I want to talk to you about the third. It's important. The fourth. The fourth was shopping with a reputable online retailer. So that is the fifth. So you got to be cautious of phishing emails, texts, and calls. If you want to prevent credit card fraud, you got to be really cautious of those instances. Phishing emails, text, and calls. And phishing scams are really among the most common ways of criminals trying to steal your identity. And if you want to prevent credit card fraud, you really got to pay attention to that, to the phishing scam. Fraudulent messages or emails can trick victims into, say, clicking on links or unwittingly sending their credit information to the wrong people. And this happens all the time, okay? And we're talking about criminals actually really attacking big organizations such as Costco or even T-Mobile, okay? And so because the thing is that when what they do is they actually use very reputable brains to actually commit their phishing scams. So if you receive, let's say, an unsolicited email that includes a link or asks for your financial information, you want to look for the signs that point to a scammer. So, for example, incorrect from email addresses. You want to click or hover on the sender's name to see their email addresses. If this doesn't match the company name, it's a scam. Also look for similar domain names like Walmart instead of Walmart, for instance. And if you have an unsolicited email that uses an unofficial email account like Gmail or Yahoo, this is really bad because you want to check to see if the sender is using a free email address, because real newsletters or offers won't use a Gmail or Yahoo account. If you have poor spelling, grammar, and layout, phishing scams often include strange spelling errors and grammar. This is a major red flag that you are dealing with a fraudster. If you have an email that includes links, attachments, or QR codes, never click on links or download attachments in unsolicited emails or texts. This is one of the ways that scammers get you to visit phishing sites or infect your device with malware. Also, if they use threatening or emotional language, fraudsters will threaten or present you with time-bound offers in order to have you quickly give up your card details, and emotional language is one of the hallmarks of a social engineering attack. So you want to take a moment and check the email of the fraudsters. You want to check the email for this giveaways before you take action. You want to look for the warning signs of a scam website. Let me break it down for you. So basically, established e-commerce vendors want to provide actually enjoyable experiences for their customers. Why? Because that's really what generate revenue. So the design on most modern retail sites focuses on easy navigation. And by comparison, many scammers use nebulous websites, flashy ads, too good to be true offers, and aggressive pop-ups to con people into sharing their credit card data. And the thing is that some scam sites will also include an access of hyperlinks designed to lure victims to unsafe parts of the internet, and others will impose the mirror websites over the top of a legitimate site, which can install malware on your computer. So the bottom line here is that if you're trying to prevent credit card fraud, don't hand over credit card numbers or any sensitive information on websites that show these red flags. The next thing you can do also is to keep your devices safe. It's all about going back to safety, right? Even if you use a secure web page to make online purchases, that doesn't shield all transactions. Hackers can really intercept electronic transfers as they transmit to a safe business server. The bottom line here is what? You got to really prioritize safety, not only physical safety, but also electronic safety. So on top of, let's say, not using public Wi-Fi, you want to consider using a virtual private network, and you want to consider also signing up for a password manager. So using a virtual private network is kind of cool because VPNs extend a private network across public systems, offering more privacy and security features. Really, it will also the VPN will protect your IP address and also encrypt electronic information transfers. And when you sign up for a password manager, you are able to have strong, unique passwords for any important online account. It also saves you the hassle of remembering multiple passwords across websites. So that's kind of cool because then you have flexibility, and you have some kind of peace also. And that piece is really important because it will give you the ability to actually navigate through the internet a lot better. The next thing you want to do is you want to protect your mail and shred sensitive documents. This goes back to what I said about physical safety. Okay, so your physical mail is kind of important because it really incorporates a lot of sensitive data. So while credit card skimmers and Wi-Fi hacking are legitimate dangers, many credit card criminals prefer time-tested scams like stealing your mail or scavenging your garbage. Sometimes scammers will even use a change of address scam to reroute your mail to their address. Then they will order a replacement card purporting to be you. This happens a lot, so you got to really be very careful there. So make sure you keep your mail and physical documents safe by going paperless with your account statements and bills, for instance. By reducing the number of documents you receive in the mail that contain your credit card information, by collecting your mail daily or using a secure mailbox. This will help you a lot. And also by shredding all sensitive documents before throwing them away. So again, this gives you the ability to know exactly what's happening at all levels. And another thing you want to do here is that you want to keep a list of all your credit card accounts. And this goes back to what I said earlier, don't have too many cards. Okay, so with credit card fraud prevention, speed matters. So the quicker you discover a vulnerability, or let's say compromise, the faster you can shut down scammers. So in terms of preventing credit card fraud, you have to really act fast. You have to act fast. Aside from creating and storing strong passwords, a password manager can also store card information. So having a complete list of account numbers ready will help your credit card company confirm your identity and quickly respond to a threat. And that's what you want. So also, and this is an important element to have to keep in mind, you want to save your credit card issuer's contact information, because many have secured methods of communication that can help you resolve any identity theft issues or credit card fraud. And if you can, keep both an electronic and paper version of your account data. That way you have a clear idea of your credit card fraud prevention mechanism in place. Okay, and this is important because if you have many cards, or let's say you have many people in your household, you want to protect them too. You want to protect them as well. The last thing you want to do is you want to use your credit card, not debit card. So you might think this is an odd step to take when you want to prevent credit card fraud. But while it might be really bad to have too many credit cards, it's better than a surplus of debit cards, because credit cards have built-in compliance standards that protect all consumers, and I mean all of them. The chargeback process and point-of-sale systems deter instances of fraud and unauthorized charges. Also, all credit cards now include EMV chips, which stands for Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. And so this chip cards create unique codes for each transaction, making the cards and their connected accounts much more resilient to digital fraud than cards that only have magnetic strips. Also, contactless payment methods like Apple Pay are considered to be safer than physical cards. Neither Apple nor your device will send merchants your credit card number when you make a payment. So that's really an important element to think about. So here you have it, the 10 steps you could take to actually prevent credit card fraud. Now, if you were the victim of credit card fraud, there are a couple of things you can do. You want to contact the fraud department of your credit card issuer, close your accounts and get a new card, point out which fraudulent transactions should be expunged from your account. You want to freeze your credit immediately. So a credit freeze rejects all loan applications until unfrozen and can also prevent criminals from doing serious damage to your credit score. So to set up a credit freeze, you want to contact each of the 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. You also want to review your credit reports for, let's say, fraudulent activity, because you can request, for instance, a free credit report at annualcreditreport.com, because it really allows you to check to see if anyone has accessed other accounts, or let's say applied for credit under your name. You want to regularly check your credit report and bank statements, because scammers are almost always after your financial accounts. So you want to check for the warning signs of identity thefts, such as strange charges on your bank statement or accounts you don't recognize. An identity theft protection service, such as you have Aura, you have Experian ID Lock, you have a lot of them. They can really help you. They can help you monitor your credit and statements for you and alert you to any signs of fraud. And you want to contact the company also. Keep the lines of communication open. Okay, contact any company where the fraudulent card was used, ask for their fraud department and tell them what happened. They will open a case and stop the criminal from making any more fraudulent charges. You also want to file an identity theft report with the FTC. You want to report the fraud to your local law enforcement, and you want to reset all passwords and enable 2FA. That's kind of important. So what are the closing remarks here? So in today's conversation, I give you the opening remarks in terms of how to prevent credit card fraud. So I give you the steps you need to really go through. And now I'm giving you the closing remarks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.